Good evening. Tonight, our special education department will be presenting. I have my team here. I'll be doing all the talking, but I wanted to introduce them. So go ahead. Next one. Oh, go ahead.
I'm Mary Jensen. I'm the special ed coordinator for the secondary level.
I'm Trish Kolianis, and I'm the transition.
Hey, and Miss Ebony's not here. She had an emergency. Go ahead. Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about information about my department, or our department, goals, compliance, accountability, and data, partnerships, programs, and successes. So to start, our department is made up of our students, and our students, these are the numbers that we've had for the last couple years. We were at 602 to start in 2020, I think that's 22, I'm sorry. And last year we had a huge drop, but this year we're already at 622. And so our department is growing by leaps and bounds, and the majority of the students are in the applied skills program and the high school. Okay, our department is made up of our special education teachers, and these are the number of teachers at each of the schools. Okay. One thing about our department is we have partnered with the IDOE because of the shortage in special education. The IDOE is offering scholarship to teachers going to school to become teachers, free tuition, books and fees. And last year we had, I want to say 8 teachers in the program. This year we have 7 teachers. Now, 3 of our other teachers are in other programs, but these 7 teachers will become full-fledged teachers with their license next year and not have had to pay a penny. Okay, we also have paraprofessionals, and as you can see at the elementary, we have a larger number of paraprofessionals because of the life skills, applied skills program, and then of course we have 4 buildings. Next, these are our service providers and supports. So this includes our contractors and other supports within the buildings. This makes up our department. Our department is, we hold a number of meetings. Now, this is a low ball number, 1,100 meetings. Think about that, 1,100 meetings a year. You're talking about students with 622 meetings, because everyone has to have an annual meeting. You're not even talking about the initials that add to each at the pre-K and all the evaluations. And then reoccurring meetings, because if a parent asks, we have to grant and hold a meeting. So 1,100 plus meetings a year, trainings, over 70 trainings. That includes an IEP training weekly, and other trainings like CPI, helping with administration, training the admin with special ed law and behavior trainings and all the other trainings. And our department meetings, these are reoccurring meetings every month. There are 14. And one that I didn't include was our parent meetings. We have a monthly parent meeting. Our department, we have a few grants. Our major grants are the IDEA Part B grants. There are 2 major grants. One is 619, and that's our pre-K. And we have, those are for the 3 to 5-year-olds, about $48,000. And within those grants, there are paraprofessionals and supplies, and that takes up the money. Our next grant is the larger grant, and that's a 611 grant, and that's about $1 million, oh, that's wrong. No, it is right, $1,104,000. Staff, medical, vision, life insurance, FICA, and supplies. Very few supplies. I want to say maybe $5,000 in supplies. The rest is all staff, and that's what makes up that grant. We also have some special grants, and again, we were awarded both grants this year. Last year, the paraprofessional grant, I was one of the first ones to get in, so I got the maximum amount. This year, so many people applied, I was awarded $21,000. And then, of course, the RoboKind grant, which is our robots, we were awarded 4 robots last year at $76,000. This year, they had, I think, triple applications, so we were awarded $49,000. But today, I received an email from another district, and they are going to give us their robots because they're not using them anymore. So we'll have about 10 robots in the district. So I'm really excited about that. And our robots, Miss Gibson King actually saw them one day. The speech therapists use them, the applied skills teachers use them. They're used with mainly our children with autism, but they get the kids talking and dancing, and kids come out of their shell, and they also, it really does help with like SEL lessons, and they're a lot of work, they're a lot to learn, but they're worth it when you see the kids that are engaged and working, and their kids are talking to the robots, and you know, so they're really beneficial when implemented. Next one. Okay, of course, somebody's calling at this time. So the special education department across the nation, we all receive what's called a federal report card. It's called results-driven accountability. And what they do is they grade us on the grants, if they're turned in on time, if we meet deadlines and timelines, if we meet the indicators, and I'll talk about all of this in a bit. We make growth on various assessments. They look at our graduation rate, and then they look at our alternative assessment and how many students participate in that assessment. So with that being said, our RDA kind of drives what our goals are. So last year, these were our goals. Our goals were, because we wanted to increase graduation rate, we had to come up with a way to do that. So we partnered with CTE, and since we partnered with them, we wanted to increase the number of students participating in those pathways and being exposed to opportunities, so we could then increase the graduation rate by giving those opportunities to our students. And then the other thing was that we needed to increase the scores on our IM. That was one of the areas that we felt we needed to improve. So those were the goals. So here's our IM, and I know it's small, I'm sorry, but so in 23, is this the language arts? Yes. So on the language arts, 21% of these students passed. We really looked at that. We took our curriculum, which is N2Y. We implemented a number of interventions. We were conducting benchmarks and progress monitoring, and we were implementing small group and really working with centers. And with that being said, last year, our students, 43% of them passed. And we actually surpassed our goal in language arts. Math, this is our math, and math 50% in 23 passed, and 68% passed in 24. So we also surpassed our goal. We're very, very proud of that. Now, indicators. These are those federal indicators. There are a number of them, but these are the ones that are either tied to dollars or I always say that the state makes you jump through hoops if you do not meet these indicators. And we have really worked hard. My team, it's not me, it's the whole team, including the students, including the teachers, including my clerical staff. And we have met each of these indicators at 100%. And I'm very proud of that. It's a very hard thing to do, but we're very cognizant of it. We work every Monday. We discuss a lot of these indicators, talking about attendance, talking about suspensions, talking about where our students are placed. We really do strategically work on the indicators, because once you're out an indicator, it could take you 5 years to get back to where you need to be. Okay, graduation rate, that was one of our goals. So in 23 out of 34 students graduated. I'm sorry, 22. In 23, 27 out of 44 students graduated. And last year, we had 35 out of 36. One of our students, we could not find her after 2 months. They continued looking, and we're not sure what happened, but even in October, we were trying to locate her to get her to meet her requirements, because she only had like one class
2 credits and a CTE.
and a CTE pathway. See, I got that wrong, I'm sorry. But this year, we're working just as hard. We've had a number of move-ins at the high school. In fact, just in the last 2 weeks, 3 students, 18 years old, with 6 credits to 10 credits. That is going to be very hard. We have to come up with alternate ways. We're implementing a alternative school. Ms. Yanders has been spearheading that, and I'm just appreciative for that. But there's a lot of other ways in order for us to get these kids to, because the likelihood of them graduating is going to be very tough. So we've got to come up with alternatives, and that's what we're doing. But we are going to work hard. We've implemented a resource room. We've implemented calling, talking to parents weekly. We've implemented a lot of other interventions, because we need these kids to get that diploma. Okay, and here are our numbers for CTE as one of our goals. In the early 20s, there were 25 students. We now have 212 students participating in the CTE pathways. And that includes our students with the most significant disabilities. Some of our lowest functioning students, they are in those classrooms. They are taking part in those classes. And our teachers and our staff at the high school have been amazing to allow us to include those students. They have a right, first of all, but they actually welcome them, and they include them as much as they can. So we're very, very proud of that, because it only, the higher number of students, the more successes. Okay, so some of our highlights. So we had ESSER dollars that we really wanted to use, but we wanted to use them so that they would help our students. We have a lot of students that are really struggling after the pandemic, and we have a lot of behaviors. We have a lot of students that just need some techniques, something to help them. And so I went to Dr. Benet and asked him if we could have a calming corner or calming room in every building. And so we talked about it. I was able to get some quotes. We were able to implement them. And this is the calming room at Harrison. Not only does it have furniture that helps with calming, but there are a lot of activities. There are a lot of just sensory fidgets and a lot of different strategies within the room. And next, the company is going to come out and train so that everybody understands how to use the equipment, and so that our kids are getting what they need. And I appreciate that. Thank you, Dr. Benet, because I think it's really important that we address the students' SEL and their social, emotional, mental health, so that we can get to the academics. The other thing we're also doing is we're utilizing adult calming rooms next, and we have some of that that we'll be going and implementing as well. We've got to take care of our teachers and our staff. All right. Again, we have an amazing high school and each of the buildings, but we were able to, one of our students was the homecoming Duchess. That's America Garcia. And it just goes to show you we have an inclusive high school, and district. We include all of our kiddos. They can participate in anything that they'd like, but they're also welcome, and they're very much a part of our system. Unified Sports, we have our football team there, but we are one of the only districts that has a unified cheerleading group. And our group includes both gen ed and special ed. Some of the girls on the gen ed team, or from the gen ed classroom squad, they would have never been a cheerleader, but I know that they've always wanted to be. And they really learn from our children, and our children learn from them. So it was a great experience, and we're hoping to expand our program for Unified. I'd love to see a basketball team and possibly a bowling team as well. And as you see, all of those cardboard presentation boards, I should say, those are all our jobs. These are some of the jobs that we offer. The students, whether they're nonverbal or not, at the high school, they apply for these jobs. They are interviewing next. Nonverbal students will pick a picture, put it on the job that they want, and they'll find a way. They have to interview, and once they get the job, then they have to learn the job, then they have to practice, and then they are able to work the job. And one of the jobs up there, the kids told us that at the food bank, they go to the food bank in Maryville, I think it is, they're working to pack 1,000 pounds of food this year. That's their goal. So, they go out to the bus barn. They go out all over, as well as all of our jobs within our buildings.
Which one, out of that, which one is the one that the kids gravitate towards the most? Like, what do you think are their top, like, two?
I would say the food bank, and it used to be Bubbles and Blankets, but now it's our Cardinal Creation Center. They're loving designing
Corner.
and we have little decals for all of you today that students made. Go to the mic and talk.
So, yeah, our kids, and I'm going to talk about that next one. But I think that also too, a lot of our kids love to go to the bus barn. Cards, they love the buses and stuff like that. But within the building, I think the Cardinal smoothie as well. That's a favorite, I'd say. And we also implemented that at Block this year, and the teachers are loving that as well. It's donation, but our recent grand opening took place 2 weeks ago, and that was our Cardinal Creation Center. It's named after Miss Elaine Meyer, who was our assistant director. She passed away in August, and we wanted to honor her because she truly loved our families and our kiddos, and she made a difference. And we thought, how can we do something to always remember her? And so this is what we did. We named our Cardinal Creation Center, and that we just had a ribbon cutting 2 weeks ago. It was very successful. And so next we're going to kind of show you some of the video from it and some of the jobs that the kids do. So this is the Cardinal Creation Center, and these are some of the things they've made. They're at the bus barn there. Cleaning in the cafeteria. They all have jobs there. That's the food bank. Those are just some of the jobs. So lastly, the next one. No, the next slide. Oops. Right here. Go right here. There. Whoops. Nope. Playing it again. There you go. I just want to leave you with this. A lot of times people will ask me, why do they get all these accommodations? Why do they get all these, modifications? It's not fair. It's not equal. Well, you know, in special education 1, the IEP is a legal document. It's a legal document that we have to follow. And children qualify for a reason. They need the extra help. So instead of being equal, we provide equity. So if you see the picture, if everything was equal, our kids wouldn't be able to have a level playing field. And with providing all the services and being equitable, we can actually help students to succeed and to thrive and to graduate and to be the best that they can be. And so that's why we do what we do in special education. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Eligibilities?
Mike?
Within special ed, there's a number of categories, or I don't know how to
There's
define it.
13.
But 13.
And how they qualify, of course, they're assessed. They're first referred, then they're assessed. And depending on, first of all, what they're looking at, the most common eligibility is a specific learning disability. Usually they're having a problem experiencing maybe in reading. Well, if it's reading, it probably affects a lot of math and everything else, right? But yes, so the 13 categories. One of the things I didn't mention was the most prevalent that we seem to see a rise is autism. So autism used to be like I remember when it was like 1 in 150. It's now 1 in 36. It's 4 times more in males. It's like the highest area they find autism is Asian, then it's Hispanic, then it's Black, and then it's white. It's really something they're looking at and studying, and you know, of course they're always attributing it to different, you know, it's in the water, it's in the shots or whatever. But one thing I will tell you, if you've seen one person with autism, you've seen one person with autism. Remember, they're all different. That's why it's a spectrum. Oh, sorry. Yes. Did I answer your question? Okay, thank you.
I just want to ask a question. I know you say you have the 13 categories.
Yes.
I'll have to go back to the MOs, the MIs.
Yes,
The severes, the LDs. So I know you don't break it down like that because you just include them all as one.
But we break it down. I think.
I mean,
so,
to
I
us,
think
to us, the board, they, you
Yeah.
know, they see, that's what I'm saying, because I know that they are different different disabilities and stuff, so, with that being said, are all of them doing these, engaging in all of these categories? All of them are?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, actually, so our students that are in the gen ed, they are participating in our pre-eds, but they're doing more of the higher level.
Higher levels?
Most of our jobs are done by our students that are nonverbal,
Mm-hmm.
whether they're in a wheelchair. All students can participate. Doesn't matter their disability. They have to sign a waiver because, of course, we're taking them out
yeah.
into the
Yeah.
but all students can participate. The students that we see less in our jobs are the ones that are on track to graduate. They're in their classes and stuff like that. We don't see them in our jobs as much, but they're welcome too. All of them are welcome. They can be a peer tutor. They can be, I mean, if they wanted a job. We're looking now, I just am looking to work with the Carpenters Union. Somebody approached me. He'd like to come in. He'd like to talk to some of our students that may not want to go to college. So his name is Travis, and he is really excited about coming in, presenting to our students that are in the gen ed that might want to go into carpentry and stuff like that. So I'd like to partner with them to see what we can do.
Oh, yeah. Okay, okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Ms. Paul,
Yes.
first of all, I'd like to say I'm glad to see all these activities taking place. they're doing more than other students. And I know that you're pushing hard for them to be the best that they can be. And I know that you're pushing hard for the graduation rate because I saw it increase last year. Every year I see that. Um, do we still have Athletes for Charity as a Catholic? Which one was it? It was
no,
a program.
Don't think so.
No, no, it was the athlete just, what was it? Charity for Athletes. It was a program that we used to have.
Yes, yeah, I don't think so.
Have we lost that MOU?
Yeah, that's
I'll,
been a
I'll
while.
pull it up and then I'll give it back to you.
Okay, yeah.
And they gave a lot of money to those particular programs, especially when the sports. I don't know what happened to the relationship, but I really think we need to try to amend that. I will give it to Dr. Bornier and then he will talk to you about it. I think someone in here, you understand, was Athletes for Charity, Charity
I
for
remember
Athletes.
them,
Yeah,
yes,
they were
uh-huh.
a big, big, big part of special ed. I've seen your graduation rate, I've seen your prom, I've seen how you sent off the children. You had a special party for them, and parents participated in that. And I was really glad to see that they really walked the red carpet, which is something that they normally hadn't done, and they were very, very excited. So thank you for doing that. You and the parents that work with you and your staff. And secondly of all, the field trips and things that they're taking, you're preparing them basically for CTE. You took it to the aviation out here in the Gary Airport,
Yes, oh, yeah. they
which no one
love
had
that.
ever even thought about doing. And you are providing jobs for those who are trying to help them get jobs, those who have graduated. I know one who has a job. I'm not going to call his name because everybody knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, I've seen you work very hard with them, and I've seen your programs come up to a level of I'm gonna say this: you're meeting our expectations when it comes to that. As long as we keep these IEPs and the families and the conferences with the parents and letting them know where they have work to do also. So as long as we keep that relationship, I could see you flourish to another level. I could see special ed flourishing to another level, which it is. Um, and second, and the most important of all, the soft spot, the soft room. I think it's the soft room.
Calming room? Yes.
Calming room,
yes,
that's it.
yes.
Well, I
Calming
call it
corners.
soft room
Yep.
because special, pre-K has one.
Yes,
So is that just in pre-K or is that in all the
all
schools?
buildings. High
Okay.
school has one.
The high school has one?
Yes.
I would like to
absolutely.
see that.
Yes, and the company comes in, they're setting it up, they're training and everything. And it's important that we know how to use them. We know the social workers are gonna be a big part of that so that they can take the kids in there, they can work with them. If there's some SEL lessons, some kids just wanna go in, calm down, or just, it's a quiet place to maybe, say a kid is just having a rough day. As long as an adult's in there with them, they can go in, do a little bit of homework. There's a lot of activities that they can, incorporate.
So are your parents participating?
We haven't included the parents.
I mean, like volunteering?
We haven't thought about that yet, as far as parents going in. But that's not something that we would not, because we always want our parents to come in. Definitely would like to make sure that.
And the reason why I'm saying that, because I know when you have children with autism, they need a lot of one-on-one.
That's
So
one of these.
if you can kind of encourage parents, and I know they work, I know some of them work, but I know that's one of the biggest
Trying to get them.
portion of your special ed that needs a lot of attention.
I have Miss Erica Yoki, and she is our interpreter, but she's also our family outreach coordinator, and she is doing a beautiful job with bringing parents in. She's, really holding meetings during the day, and then we hold some after school. We're really trying to get the parents in to come in to see what we have and get them to be part of, and she is really having some she's thinking outside the box, and it's really helping to get the parents in. So I'm glad you brought that up. I totally forgot to mention that part.
Well, I just want you to know that I see your program coming up, and I know you have workers behind the scene, because I've had to call you on a few occasions when parents didn't understand, and thank you for taking the time out, you and other people, for letting that parent know exactly where their child was, because the child will say one thing, and we know, documentation, and then, I just appreciate the team that's working together with you to try to combat these problems, social and emotional. And my hat's off to you all. I see your program growing, and those that's in here, thank you.
They're great support, and that's one of the things that I really do pride myself on, is the fact that my team will do anything to try to help kids, and it really makes the job easier. And one of the things I forgot to mention is our kiddos, when they leave here and they go to Voc Rehab for their next, after graduation, they have an intake meeting, and when one of the parents went there, they were so in awe, oh, thank you, at how much the child knew and how much we had already done with the child. They actually were asking to come and visit our program to see what they could get from us, which was a very big compliment. And it has to do with the team and how they're always thinking about ways to help kiddos. And I just can't thank my team enough, because it's just what they do. And I appreciate that.
One more thing. You mentioned the little robot.
Yes, uh-huh.
Okay, now I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to really hear you about the program with the little robots. Can you just kind of repeat that a little
Sure.
bit more?
Yes, so these robots are about this tall. They dance, they talk, they move, but they're programmed to help children that don't speak, or they're programmed, if the child is melting down, they teach them strategies, SEL strategies, so that they can self-regulate. It's funny how some kids will never talk, but they get that robot in front of them and they interact, they start talking. So there's a multitude of various activities that are conducted with the kiddos, and we're seeing a lot of success. And the high school kiddos love them more than anybody, which I didn't think that was going to be true, but the high school teachers have a rotating plan so that they can implement them in the classrooms daily. So they're being used, and they're effective, and we didn't have to pay for anything. And like I said, we're getting them donated more.
Right.
So
I just want to say one more thing. I thought maybe you were going to bring them in here.
I should have. You're
Which one
right.
did we have, Mandy?
We
Which one did we have, Leslie? Mandy?
Carver. We had
We had-
Carver.
No, we had the lady. We had
No.
the girl.
Oh, the girl.
Yeah,
What is her
Mandy?
name? I cannot think of her name now.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had the girl.
Okay. I forgot.
Yes. Just one more thing. I know
Yes.
the common room. I know you said you had one at Harrison. So you have them in all the schools?
Yes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Every school, yes.
Okay.
And we had specifications, we talked to the company, and they were wonderful, according to what our needs were. And so each of the buildings will have them, and they're going to be trained so that we're utilizing them correctly, and so nothing is disappearing, and nobody is, because teachers already were starting to go in there and grab, and we're like, no, it stays in there. Kiddos can go in there and use them.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. And as I said, we're also going to have adult calming rooms too, so we need to take care of our adults. Yes.
Ms. Pohl, first of all, thank you for a great presentation. Mine is sort of a two-part question. I know that Trustee Smith did ask the question with regards to parent involvement with your programs. Do you see that hopefully in the future, maybe creating a slide that kind of allows us to understand how many parents are involved with their children?
Yeah, we could do that. And we have sign-in sheets for everything we do.
Second question, and you did state earlier that some of the parents are involved. The ones that are you providing the tools they need to educate their children at home as well?
Yes, actually, so we work with our team, so our related service, for example, if a child has autism and they're really struggling, if we have a tool at school that they're very successful with, we might also give the parent the tool to use at home to see if it's successful, and then maybe their insurance may purchase it. One of the other things that I didn't mention, because I really didn't want to keep you here all night, I asked Dr. Bonet about purchasing some communication devices. One of the reasons our children that do end up very frustrated and there's outbursts, and sometimes they get very aggressive, is they can't communicate right. So I asked Dr. Bonet if we could purchase some communication devices to help our children, because parents sometimes can't afford them and maybe insurance won't pay for them. But if we had them here, all of our speech department is trained on the devices. They can use them to help the kiddos. At least we have them in the buildings. So we have 10 new devices, and I am so excited. That means that a child has a voice now. And we're going to find the right one for some of those kiddos that are really struggling. And I've never had as much support like I've had with that to help our children. So I just want to say thank you, Dr. Bonet, for that as well.
Just one more question.
Yeah.
Your budget is, you have your own budget, right?
Yes,
Okay,
and
but-
when I showed you that, it's all staff,
Yeah.
insurance, all of that goes in, all the benefits that go with that, and then I think about $5,000
You
of
don't have to use
supplies.
any of the general funds.
We do, yes,
You use
there,
those
yes,
too, right? I've seen-
absolutely, because I don't have enough money to
Okay,
pay for all
that's
my
what I-
people, and we work together as a team, whether it's curriculum, title, and everybody. When there's a need, we find a way to supply each of the students with their needs, and I've been very blessed. That doesn't always happen in all districts, so our children are very blessed in this district, because what they need is what we get for them.
No, and that kind of goes, I have a comment and then I have two questions. I'm really impressed by all these different jobs that the students have in previous employment, and as you talk to other schools in the area, they only have a coffee cart for their students to use. But seeing that they have all the other resources for them to choose, I think it's great. I think this is obviously one of the highlights of just our special ed department, and I'm kind of in awe because a lot of schools don't value their special ed programs at all. In one of my previous jobs, I had a student that was nonverbal, and I was kind of freaking out. I'm like, how do I get them to engage in class? And what they told me was, that's okay. If he doesn't want to talk, he doesn't want to talk. And that just keep on doing your job, and if he doesn't pick it up, he's not gonna pick it up. So I say that just because I think we are a real bright spot in Northwest Indiana when it deals with our special needs students and our special ed program. So I really do appreciate that. I did have two questions, both involving our high school special ed students. So the one thing that I was looking at was our SAT scores. So what are some practices? I know the special ed students are all over the place, but what are some resources that we offer these students to kind of help them get ready for the SAT?
We have it's called a modified classroom, where they go in there. They get a lot of math and language arts from one of the teachers who works with them on the ASVAB and the SAT. We provide a resource hour where they can study, where they can get the help that they need. What are some other things, guys?
PSAT, just
First, right?
We offer tutoring.
8th hour, there was an
tutoring.
8th hour tutoring.
We also have partnered up with Miss Karakides.
Yes.
And the resource,
Come to the mic. she's-
oh,
Yeah, we have other math intervention tools that we're using.
and the resource hour is built into their schedule?
Yes.
Hours is built into their schedule, so our students meet every day with a special education teacher for one period. There's
Okay.
7 periods in a day. So they can help with, homework assignments, things that they haven't completed, but they can also provide additional enrichment. We have other intervention tools that we use. The SAT is a very rigorous test, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons that CTE provides a secondary pathway for our students for graduation. There are 3 ways students can fill what we call bucket 3. One is to achieve a score on the ASVAB, the other is a score on the SAT. The third CTE is to meet CTE requirements. And we have found that many of our students both gen ed and special ed, need to use that CTE pathway or that ASVAB test to fulfill that graduation requirement because the score required on the SAT.
It's ridiculous.
Thank you for saying the word for me, I appreciate it.
And even the
because it
ASVAB,
is.
that's a very
The
difficult
31
test
is very
too.
difficult. It's, our children do better on that test than they do the SAT. But we do have multiple interventions, so we're continually pushing and trying, but that's why we have that alternate CTE pathway that's become so robust.
And then that's led me to my second question, is with these new diploma requirements, what has your team kind of looked at? And is there going to be a need to change up the playbook, or like how are we doing with these new diploma requirements that is coming from the state? Specifically, if they want to go with this whole idea of building partnerships,
So we hold our department, we have made our students such an integral part of general education that we're seen as, they view themselves as just cardinals. We have, and we go into classrooms, I do presentations consistently with the health classes, Ms. Karakides' education class, and we talk about pushing students in. Everybody has a right to be in classes. So with all of this, our students will follow whatever gen ed does as far as graduation requirements and the new diploma. And we will partner with general education. We work very close with Mr. Tokars to make sure that our students, including our applied skills students who are working toward an alternate diploma and they're earning units and not credits, that they have those same opportunities. The one thing we didn't talk about, we talked about the CTE pathway. Many of our students use that if they're not successful with a passing SAT score. They use that CTE pathway to graduate, to fulfill that bucket. We've had the honor of being asked to pilot the micro-credential program, which what that does is, say for example, we have a CTE pathway, and our students are, included to earn that credential. Well, now they want us to include our students with the most significant disabilities to also have an opportunity at the state level to earn what's called a micro-credential, which is like one step down, but it would be recognized by the state of Indiana, where they would actually receive a certification to possibly help in a child care room. What are some of the other
Hospital orders.
hospital porters, food service, where they would also be able to earn that micro-credential. So we've been asked by the state to pilot that program, and we are in the process of trying to work some kinks out and get that off the ground. But our students will follow whatever the general education students do as far as the new diploma requirements, and they will be supported.
All right, thank you. At this time, does anybody have any other, yeah, okay.
Thank you for answering that question, President Arteaga, because that was one of my questions I wanted to ask about the CTE. Thank you for answering that. And I would love to see more of our special needs children in that particular program because I know the capabilities of some of them and I know what some of them can and cannot do. But it will build their self-esteem and build their character. And the CTE program can make them employable, believe it or not. I've been
Absolutely.
to other states where they have graduated with the Core 40 diploma and they work.
Mhm.
You
No
know,
one
and
should
they
be
work.
sitting at
And I need them to be a part of that CTE program.
Trish didn't tell you, but Trish and I helped to develop the micro-credential at the state level. We met pretty much weekly with the state, and we were very excited about that. And we haven't said a whole lot because it hasn't gotten off the ground. There's reasons, but we're pushing for it, and there are only 2 right now in the state, and East Chicago is one of them. So as soon as I can get it off, I'll give you a little more information. But Trish has been very instrumental in that, and I appreciate all the work she's done.
I appreciate your compliment on the student boards. What we did is we did a job fair so that our students, they had designated times to come down. We wanted to give them the opportunity to have the same experiences that anyone else would have. So they went and looked at each of the jobs. All of our pre-employment team was there that assists with the jobs. They got to pick, we had refreshments. So we always try to kind of align with what general ed is doing. If general ed has their career fair in the gymnasium, we had ours in the Cardinal Work Center. So it provides a lot of opportunities. I think one of the most amazing things that is happening is that we are including our students with the most significant disabilities into general ed classrooms, and no one is batting an eye. The kids are accepting the students. There are no comments being made. Again, everybody is seen as a cardinal. There's a lot of support. They are welcomed in the classroom, and we keep pushing and more and more and more. We want them exposed. We want them to have the same opportunities that everybody else has. And we have a director that will fight for that every day, which gives us the power to fight for that every day.
All right, thank you.
I just had 2 questions. One was, you had mentioned earlier, Ms. Pohl, about post-high school. Have you been tracking these kids, what they're doing after high school?
So that's indicator 14, and what we do is we make calls. The sad part about it is a lot of the phone numbers are out. They're not, this has been something that's been very difficult, and we're trying to actually continue, and we're trying to find a better way to get a hold of them because a lot of them have moved. So if, say that we had 20, just say 20 graduate, we might get 3 responses. So it's kind of hard. I think that some of the things that we could implement, I think would be maybe giving them a questionnaire to ask them if they do move, maybe give us a call or stop in and visit. Maybe we can even set up appointments for them to come back during college visits or something so we know what they're doing. Because that is part of an indicator. It's not an indicator tied to any federal dollars or anything like that, but they do want to know what students are doing afterwards. And one thing about this year's graduates, we only had 3 alternate diplomas. The rest all received diplomas. They were diplomas. So most of those students were going to either go into the workforce or hopefully go to school.
The second question was, clearly these are challenges that looks like you're working towards overcoming. My question is the challenge on working with a Spanish-speaking student population. How do you manage that?
Well, we have interpreters, trained interpreters in the law. In fact, we host a training, and we were supposed to have it next week, but they had to cancel it because the person ended up having an emergency. But we invite all of our cells, all of our BFOCs, anyone in the district to come in to be trained on the law so that they can interpret in meetings. They are very knowledgeable. They can sit in if we need them. So we try to make sure that all of our people in the district are trained, but we do have an interpreter that sits in all the meetings when a parent does not speak English. We make sure. And then with the new technology that is incorporated, for example, like our IEPs come in, I think they said 56 languages. So those are interpreted. We have to give parents documents, legal documents in their native language. That's the law. So we do a lot of training. We invite the state and InSource to come in and do that training for us yearly. In fact, we held it last November, and we're going to hold it again this year.
So when in the classroom, though, how does the student, are you suggesting that the,
So, oh, no, in the classroom, I'm sorry, I misunderstood
no,
you.
that's fine.
Oh, no. In the classroom, most of our students that don't speak English also receive English language, the supports and services. A lot of our paras speak Spanish and will help and assist. What's that? Yes, the iPads. We have apps that we use to translate. Like there's the Google and there's different ones, but there's ways. We have to find a way because we have to teach them.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate you guys staying past, 6 o'clock on a Tuesday to talk to us about your jobs. We really do appreciate it, and thank you again.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
and thank you, team. And thank you.
Okay. Okay.
And that's going to be it for our work session. Thank you.
Wait a minute. My presentation is very, very short.
Oh,
I wanted to present you all with something. Tammy does a great job with our students. She really does. And I think Trustee Rodriguez, you asked her how many parents are involved. Well, Tammy, how many students do we have with IEPs?
600 and some kids.
622. Therefore, we have 622 parents involved because every year they have to have an ACR. So if that's the minimum amount of parent contact that we have. I also want to just take this opportunity to present you all. We wanted to, so the National School Board Association has a Magna Award, and we have nominated you all for that award for your support that you provide to School City of East Chicago when it comes to making gains academically, social emotional learning, behavioral, all across the board. So thank you for your support. So we have nominated you all, and I wanted to give you a copy of the submitted application that I did today. And Tammy, I think what we have is our application program for the next Magna Award application. You do a great job. Thank you, Tammy.
All right. Well, thank you.
Oh. Okay, thank you. So we have to fill this out, huh? We have to fill this out, huh? Think so? It is, okay.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and we will see you guys
Okay,
next
then
time.
we filled it out.